Good morning. Good Sunday, November 24th morning at 11 o'clock in the Haftorah Man Library. Good morning. Hi, everybody. Today, we're going to do a chapter from Sefer Tehillim, from the book of Psalms. And I chose chapter 30, Perek Lamed. Why? Because I want to foreshadow that the holiday of Hanukkah is coming. Hanukkah. And this particular psalm is called Mizmor, a song, musically accompanying a poem, Shir Chanukat. Ooh, sounds like Hanukkah. Chanukat Habayit LeDavid, for the rededication of the temple by the Hashmonaim. Originally, this was written for the inauguration of King David's son, Shlomo Solomon. However, we go fast forward hundreds of years, and now the Maccabees are going to triumph over the Greeks, Antiochus Epiphanes, who I happen to have an affinity for, because not only is he the reason why there's a holiday of Hanukkah, but guess what? He also forbade the Jewish people to use the Torah to learn. So what happened is the men that were the leaders of the Jewish community said, he didn't say anything about learning from the prophets. And we're going to pick stories, selections that are similar to the Parsha, the Torah reading of that week or holiday. And that's how the Haftorahs got started, as a antidote to the problem that Antiochus Epiphanes IV forbade the Jewish people. Always crafty. So here we go. The author of this chapter 30, if you have a copy of the book, From Your Lips to God's Ears, I would look at chapter 30 on page 145. And it's first of all, it is written by King David, or written in honor of David, because it says, Mizmor Shir Chanukat Habayit LeDavid, by David. Yeah. When and why did he write this chapter? David wrote the psalm to be sung during the consecration of the temple in the times of Solomon. So that was the original composition, but also we read this on Hanukkah because we rededicated. Hanukkah, we think, is about the menorah, but Hanukkah, Chanukat Habayit, is the rededication of the house of God. The genre is of individual thanksgiving. Interesting. Doesn't talk about oil. Talks about the few dedicated, devoted people that did not first assimilate into the Greek lifestyle, Hellenism. It's not related, but there's a word, chilonim. It means people that are not observant, chol. They're secular Jews. God bless them. They're good people. However, they went a bit too far, according to the Hashmonaim, the Maccabees, Yehuda Maccabee, Mattisyahu Maccabee. And they said, listen, you don't want to be observant. Okay. However, do not have the presence of negative. You're a pagan customs now. You brought a pig into the temple. What's wrong with you? Or you're about to sacrifice a pig because, that was a big honor. So that's the trigger. And that pushed the buttons of the Maccabees, the Hashmonaim. Didn't go. We'll talk about that in a little bit. This psalm was composed by King David in honor of the dedication of the Beit HaMikdash, the house of God, the holy temple, though he himself would not be worthy of building God's house, the promise that the temple would be built by his son Solomon, was sufficient vindication against the taunts and derisions of his enemies, because people would give it to him. The psalm consists of 13 verses subdivided in 4 parts. Make sure to like me. Make sure to sign up for whenever I go online, you get a heads up. This is great. Number 1, Pasuk verse 1 serves as an introduction. Got it. Then verses 2, 3, and 4. So the first verse was a psalm of song for the inauguration of the temple. Now we know Chanukat Habayit is not just a Chanukiah, the menorah. Remember, the menorah in the temple was 7 branches. And a Chanukiah, the Hanukkah menorah, modified now, has 8 days, 8 branches, plus the shamash. So 9. When it's the 8th day of Hanukkah, you got 9 candles, or drops of oil, cups of oil. Aromimcha Adonai, this is verse 2 on page 146. Aromimcha Adonai, I will exalt you, right? I'm lifting God up. Ki dilisani, you lifted me. You didn't leave me down, you lifted me up. Velo simachta oivai li, oivei. You did not permit my enemies to rejoice. Adonai Elohai, Adonai my God, Shivati Elecha v'tirpa'eni. I cried out to you, and Rofei, you healed me. Like they say, have a refuah shalema, have a complete healing. Verse 4, Adonai, He'elisa min she'ol nafshi, you have raised my soul from the lower world, from Sheol. Chiyitani, and you gave me life, kept me alive, miyor divor, from being descending to the pits, the pit of hell, so to speak, the underworld. So here you have the poetry of the book of Psalms, that you could see it. The lower world, Sheol, and your divor, descended into the pits. Now, 5 and 6, King David calls upon the pious to give him thanks to God as well. For God's anger passes quickly. The Shetzef Ketzef. Yeah, I got angry, God says, but it doesn't take me long to recover. Zamaru Adonai Chasidav. Zamaru, that you should sing and play music to God. Chasidav, like Chasidim, the pious, the Chesed ones. People that are devoted to goodness. V'hodu lezecher kodsho, and give thanks, hold, to the remembrance of his holy name. Vav, 6, ki rega be'apo, for his anger lasts only a moment. Chaim bertzono, but there is long life in his conciliation. Be'erev yolin bechi, at night, I go to sleep crying. Sometimes I go to sleep crying. Vilaboker rina, I wake up. This is going to be a great day. So this is King David saying, doesn't matter how tough it gets, every day, tomorrow, I'll love you tomorrow. It's only a day away. So here, Ania Marti Bishalvi. So let's see, 7, 8, 9, and 10. The psalmist describes his struggles. Struggles? You're King David. You're God's appointed king. What do you mean struggles? Life does not fall to the right side of a bell curve. Everybody's got stuff. And I even said this to somebody yesterday. If you don't have stuff, you make up stuff. I don't know. The idea would be to focus on the positive and have a prayer of thanks. I say it every day because it forces me to focus on what it is that I do have to be grateful for, and that it manifests, it unfolds. It's amazing. Va'ani amarti bishalvi, and I said in my shalva, my serenity, Bal emot leolam, that I will never be moved. Everybody, if you're looking for inspiration in life, numero uno, King David, David HaMelech. Everybody, use him as a spiritual role model. People ask me, how do I feel connected? I go, don't ask me. Ask the connected ones. Ask David. Look at what David said. I will never be moved. Doesn't matter what comes up. Adonai birtzoncha. Adonai. It was your will alone. He'emadata laharari Oz, that established my mountain as a stronghold. Oz, power, like the Uzi. He starta fanecha. Well, there were times where you hid your anthropomorphic punim face. Hayisi nivhol. When that happened, I was panic stricken. I was terrified. Tet 9. We're on page 147. We're looking at chapter 30, verse 9. Elecha Adonai ekra. To you, Adonai, I called. Ve'el Adonai et chanan. And my master, God, I beseeched. I was calmed down. 10. Yud. Ma betza bedomi birditi el shochas. Ma betza. What gain is there? Bedomi. If you squish me out, kill me, my blood pours out of me. Birditi. And I'm going down el shachas, into destruction. What benefit to you, God, is? I'm standing, my heart's beating, I'm praising you. Keep me that way. I don't do you any good in the grave. Hayodecha afar, will the dust acknowledge you? Amazing. Hayagida misecha, will the dead proclaim your truth? There is nobody talking from the grave. Be careful. Now we go to Yud Aleph, 11 through 13, last two psukim. Look how quickly it goes. He offered his thanksgiving for deliverance from his hardship. I am so happy to be able to teach this. Shema Adonai v'choneini. Hear me, Adonai, and be gracious to me. Adonai heyeh ozer li. God, be help to me. La'azor li. God, help me. God, min helfen. Yud Beis 12. Hafachta misbedi limacholi. You have turned la'afoch misbedi. Right? My mourning limachol. It's a dance to dancing. You go from sitting Shiva and you get up, you go to a wedding and you sing and dance and clap your hands. Pitachta saki. You have loosened my sackcloth. Saki, not Japanese saki, but in Hebrew, saki is hasak sheli, but not the ones that go on my feet. This is a sackcloth, but you can see you have a biblical origin of a Hebrew word that you have an English word. Vata azreini simcha, and you supported me with joy. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is supporting me right now. That's what David said. Final pasuk, lema'an yezamercha chavod, in order that my soul might sing to you. Ah, what optimism. Velo yidom, I am not going to sit still. I'm not going to be a dummy. Dumb in Hebrew, dom is silent. Adonai Elohai liolam odecha. Adonai, the four-letter name of God, my God, liolam, forever, odecha, I will thank you. Woo! What an amazing chapter. Interesting facts. The psalm is commonly referred to by the first two words, Mizmor Shir. While originally recited as part of the dedication ceremony in the Beit HaMikdash, it was reintroduced as part of the daily prayer during the 17th century, in the 1600s. The Sidur, the prayer book, which I'm working on, the development of the prayer book from the time of Moses till today, will show you when the prayers were introduced. It was not a PDF file downloaded. It snowballed it got added to. And then you say this chapter 30 for deliverance from a bad occurrence. Ooh. Verse 11 states, hear me, Adonai, and be gracious to me. Adonai, be a help to me. Bakasha. And that this is recited in the Psukei de Zimra in the morning, as well as it's the song of the day of Hanukkah. Amazing. So here we go, everybody. That. Just one out of 150 chapters. If you like this, you should have a copy of this book. Not only that, you should give this out to your friends as Hanukkah presents. You should give it to your family. They will thank you. Look what you got out of one chapter. You have a shul, a synagogue, a school, wherever. This would benefit children and adults, relatives and friends and people that you do business with. It's amazing. It's not about the book. It's about giving them a transport system to feel closer to God. I thank you all for listening. Please get in touch with me if I can help you.